For people of color, in the wake of the George Floyd killing in Minneapolis, Minnesota, these are very difficult times. When you're a person of color in a workplace, you really feel like there's either a bullseye on your back or some other kind of target on your back. You definitely feel the eyeballs on your back, on your front, on your side. You feel like people are watching you. They want to see how you're going to react, what your opinion is of this thing. And it can be very difficult because for many people of color, you're already dealing with various microaggressions in your work environment, in your neighborhood, even in your acquaintance or friendship circles, even amongst your family members. You can be dealing with that. And that can create some challenges, and that can create a lot of stress for many people of color, especially black people now, after George Floyd was brutally murdered in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So the question is, how do we deal with this? When you feel like because of your work environment, because of the people that you work with, because of the environment that you work in, that you can't say the things that maybe other black people, maybe other people of color can say, can do. You can't express your opinion on Facebook the way other people can. You can't express your opinion on Twitter the way other people can. You can't participate in a protest the way other people can. Because people are watching you. They're looking for what your behavior is going to be. And they're going to perhaps judge you differently than they would judge a non-person of color. And those are the things that many of us have to deal with on a daily basis. And it's difficult. It's challenging. And this is one of the reasons it's important that you check on your colleagues who are people of color, especially if they're black. Again, with what's going on with George Floyd, it's very difficult times right now for many people, even people who in some ways are far removed from it. We're hurt, a lot of us. It's a challenge. And when you can't feel, when you feel like you can't express yourself the way other people can, you feel like you're even more closed into this box that you can't get out of, and you become almost claustrophobic. It's a challenge. It's one that I don't think anybody relishes having to go through. And that's why it's important that as we go through this and we deal with this, that we find ways to really express ourselves. And one of the ways that I tend to express myself when I can't say some of the things that I want to say publicly, face to face with people in my social media, is I go to writing. I go to creative writing. And that's my outlet. That's the way that I can, just relieve a little bit of that pressure, because the pressure does build up. It's tough. Many of us as black people and people of color, we're carrying a lot of weight on our shoulders, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it's a challenge. In the last few days, I've seen a number of people of color who have expressed issues that they've had, for example, with law enforcement. And it's tough. And some of these stories, they just break your heart when you see what people have to go through. Because many of us, when we see a police car behind us, we become nervous. We become uneasy, even when we're not doing anything wrong. Because we know that we're not doing anything wrong. But do the police know that we're not doing anything wrong? And these are the things that go through your head. And when you get pulled over, your anxiety level shoots through the roof. Trust me, I know, because I've been there. I haven't gotten pulled over very many times, but the last time I did, my anxiety level was through the roof. So think about that, because it's not easy. These are very difficult times for a lot of people. And when you don't feel like you can have an outlet to express what's going on inside of you, that just makes it all the more difficult, all the more challenging, all the more uncomfortable. So find ways that you can really relieve that stress, especially when social media, you may not be able to express yourself as much as you would like, or in the way that you would like, or you can't go and participate in a protest, the way that you might want to. Find your way to be able to have an outlet if social media is cut off from you, or if social media is limited, or you feel limited by what you can or can't do in social media. So look for ways that you can find a different outlet, because believe it or not, it's tough out there right now for a lot of people trying to find ways to express themselves. Some people feel very comfortable doing it with the position that they're in, and that's privilege in a large degree, to a large degree. Some people appreciate that privilege. Some people take it for granted. But it is a privilege. If you don't have that privilege, think about how you can relieve that pressure and do it in a constructive way that's not going to hurt you professionally, especially down the line. It's easier said than done.